Heading into the coaching carousel and talking about the Dallas Cowboys, it seemed like a lot of signs were pointing to them hiring a college coach, whether it was Matt Rule, whether it was Lincoln Riley, whether it was Urban Meyer, whether it was Dan Mullen. And maybe that was just myself reading too much into things. But the Cowboys didn't go that route. And instead of hiring this up-and-coming college coach or this hotshot coordinator, they went the retread route with getting Mike McCarthy, the former Green Bay Packers head coach. Now, on the surface, some people might scoff at this because you hire a coach that's been fired. A lot of people want to see young and innovative. And when Mike McCarthy is with the Packers, part of the reason for their struggles is he never adapted their offense. So on the surface, it looks like, okay, you're going from Jason Garrett, who they kind of just, bottomed out, to a guy that did the same thing with another, prominent franchise. But I think the thing that I like about Mike McCarthy is he didn't get a job last year. It would have been very convenient for McCarthy, and maybe he didn't even get offered a job, but it would have been very convenient for him to get fired from the Packers and go get a head coaching job right away. I think being a year away from the game is going to do nothing but benefit McCarthy. If you take a look at this, it gave him time, and you heard about this. He went out and he studied the game, and he met with other coaches, and he learned, hopefully learned a lot. And I think that's going to benefit him to revamp some of you get in the habit. You got Aaron Rodgers. You go with what you always had success with. Now he doesn't have that. And he spent that time away, and I think that's going to benefit the Cowboys. I'm curious to see how he does with Dak Prescott. I mean, he was there to help develop Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is a special quarterback, but he was still a bit of a flawed prospect when he came out of Cal. He had a lot of issues that he had to work with, and Mike McCarthy was there in Green Bay to help him kind of get through that. How can he do with Dak Prescott, and are they going to go back to the run game? The thing that hurt the Cowboys so much this year was they went from being a run-first team with their good offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott to being more of a pass-first team, and I think that's when the season really started to kind of fade. Now, as much as I kind of like this head coaching hire, I did not like what they did on the defensive side. They're bringing in Mike Nolan as the defensive coordinator. He's coming from the New Orleans Saints, who was their linebackers coach. Mike Nolan's been a head coach in the league before. He's been a defensive coordinator. It's just, I would have liked to see a better move. Now, Nolan's a guy that his defenses do take away the ball a lot, and the Cowboys have struggled to get more than, to be a top 10 takeaway defense. So I think that's going to help. But Mike Nolan's basically been a 3-4 defensive coordinator. The Cowboys are a pretty traditional 4-3 defense. And I get it. I'm not one that's like, it's a 4-3 defense or it's a 3-4 defense. You have variations, and teams run so much nickel so much, but it's all based off of player types. Mike Nolan's defenses always take a massive nose tackle. They always have 2-gap guys. The Cowboys defense is built on getting up the field. They weren't that traditional Tampa 2 defense, but they had a lot of those traits. And you got guys like, DeMarcus Lawrence, who's trying to get upfield. You have Tristan Hill, who they drafted last year, an up the field penetrating defensive tackle. So they have a lot of those guys. And so I don't think he's going to force feed things in, but I think you're going to slowly start to see this defense kind of transition that way. And I would have liked to see, maybe something that kind of fits with what they have. So we'll see. I like what they did at head coach, but I think they could have done a better job on the defensive side. Although it does sound like they're trying to keep Chris Richard in as the defensive backs coach. If they can do that with Mike Nolan, I think that'd be a big coup. But we'll see if Chris Richard does stay.